Welcome back to another edition here of the weekend preview for Los Alamitos Racecourse. I'm Jose Contreras, joined by Ed Burgart across the line. We'll call this take two, Ed, because we recorded a program for last weekend. Unfortunately, we had to cancel because of the wet weather on that Sunday evening. But how you doing here on this? We're recording on Thursday afternoon.
I'm doing great. I actually came down last week in anticipation of my race on Sunday, so I was able to enjoy the city of Cypress and Los Alamitos for a couple of nights anyway. And coming back here on Friday, I'll be back for the weekend. Looking forward to some big races. We have trials for the Los Alamitos Oaks on Saturday, along with the running of the Denim N Diamonds, which was scheduled for last week. And then we have the Los Alamitos Maiden Stakes on Sunday, along with two trials for the El Primero Delano Derby. And one of the top 2-year-olds from last year, Party Politics, who won the Ed Burke Million and the Golden State Millions, back in action with Jesus Ayala aboard for the first time. So some big races this weekend.
Yeah, and I think, we're looking forward to not only what happens in those trials, but also the stakes events that were carded for last weekend's card. They're spread out. We'll have one on Saturday night, and then we'll have one on Sunday afternoon. So the entries just came out for Sunday. You mentioned a couple of trials that we're going to have. So looking forward to the weekend card, and it looks like the weather will be clear. Hopefully it stays that way as we get to enjoy two nice 10 race programs on Saturday and Sunday at Los Al. Let's talk about a few of the races on Saturday night. I know there's one thoroughbred race that you want to take a look at. Talking about a few horses here that you thought had a little bit of a chance at a price, right, in race number 3.
Yeah, race number 3. I thought two horses for people playing the pick 4 should be the 4 Potente Alba and the 7 Elusive Virtue, just based on the speed that's lined up in this field with Chief Eagle Eye, who likes to go to the front, and Edward Rojas, a very aggressive rider from the rail. The class dropper Band Slammer, who has a tremendous amount of speed but not a lot of stick. And the 3 Vermeer, who also likes to go front but needs a clear lead then. And you have a big question mark at Malachi Moxie, who's been off about 3 months off the claim from Jesus Uranga to a new trainer. So I think enough speed in the race to set it up for Potente Alba, who's coming off a good third-place finish behind Awesome Hikes, who is class dropping, and Elusive Virtue, who was moving well late last time out, against Restless Rambler, who I believe came back to win for 5,000. I think both of those closers are going to get a lot of speed to run at, and two of the horses I would use definitely in the pick 4 are Potente Alba and Elusive Virtue.
And you're right about all the speed lined up. It looks like the 3 needs to lead, but he not to win. He might not get it because there's speed on the 1, there's speed on the 2. So if there's a speed duel, Potente Alba looks good to close ground into, and even also the 7, right, Elusive Virtue.
Well, especially with the rider on the Elusive Virtue, who's been doing everything right this meet, just like Ricardo Ramirez did back in 2022. Francisco Arduino Rojas has been on fire, and he's effective from on or off the pace, but I think he'll have Elusive Virtue flying down the stretch. At the speed tires, I think one of the 2 closers at decent prices could be a good value in the pick 4.
And speaking about the pick 4, in last week's program, I had already made up my mind that I was going to sing on the first leg, Ed, and it was going to be Torre Tommy. And I'm still sticking with that opinion that I think he can clear from that post number 3. Now, one horse that was added to this field is Tis Indy, who was not entered in that race last week. He's probably now the main threat to Torre Tommy in that opening leg. So given that you're giving us a few prices in that third leg, I might still single Torre Tommy and use some of those prices there in that third leg.
Yeah, I can't fault the single on Torre Tommy. I've watched him run quite a few times. He's not always the quickest out of the gate, but he has a tremendous amount of speed thereafter. If he makes a mistake early and happens to get shuffled, because Restless Rambler, I think, drawn to his outside, once had a tremendous amount of early speed, he could get a good spot as well. So I'm not quite as sold on Torre Tommy as you are, although I do think he's the horse to beat.
We'll talk about that. We'll look at that race there, the opening race of the early pick 4 in Saturday night's program. Let's want to have you for a moment. Why don't we take a quickly look at some of those trials? And I'm interested in the very first trial of the night for the Los Alamitos Oaks. We'll have 3 trials. It starts in race number 6. And one horse that caught my eye on the workout was Fearless Moon, the 7. Jesus Ayala taking the call here for Juan Alleman.
Yeah, Fearless Moon ran 4th in the Rainbow Futurity last year. A pretty nice horse called Cyber Attack, who came back to win. The Los Alamitos 2 Million was in that race as well. And Fearless Moon looked terrific on that 18-flat gate workout. Jesus Ayala was aboard, broke like a rocket ship, and easily put away Jessica Cruz by close to 3 lengths. I think it's noteworthy that Ayala's been on Midnight Flash. He's drawn in post position number 8 every time Midnight Flash has run. He's opted for Fearless Moon. That's a sign to me that Fearless Moon is going to be a very dangerous horse here in race number 6.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Whenever you see Ayala take off a Lindolfo Diaz trainee, you got to pay attention because that's one of his main barns. He's been riding for Juan Element as well, but I think the combination of the resume of the seven, the workout, the rider taking the call, there's a lot of things to like about the seven here in that spot. That's going to be the first trial of the night. Temple Court coming back from Mike Castleman will take some play, and Fearless Fortitude, who's coming in from Colorado, already a futurity winner, so it's going to take some play as well.
Yeah, Fearless Fortitude had quite a bit of trouble. I watched that race back at Arapahoe Park. Got bumped steadily back from both sides and finished gamely for third. So definitely a threat for trainer Valentin Zamudio. But if Fearless Moon runs to the way that she worked out, I think she's the horse to beat.
Yeah, I was visually impressed with that workout as well, putting away that other Jessica Cruz, who's a talented runner in her own self. Now, this race to me might be the most competitive of the trials. There'll be the second leg. You have Cartel Kisses for Heath Taylor, 7 for 10 resume, very good resume. You got Mornings with Maria, a multiple futurity finalist. AJ Boranin showed talent. There's a lot of ways to go in this race, and I even like One Sweet Duck quite a bit.
Yeah, One Sweet Duck got eliminated last time out, had no chance to run, but Cartel Kisses worked really well for Heath Taylor. Ran third last time out in the stakes down at Will Rogers Down against a horse that came back to win the Southwest Juvenile Championship at Zia Park next time out. So I think Cartel Kisses is going to be very dangerous. Horse loves to win races and joins the barn of Heath Taylor, or has been at Heath Taylor's barn, but making the first start over the track and is proven at the distance of 400 yards, has won 3 times at the distance. That's a big plus in my opinion.
I think that's a big key. Having experience and having winning experience at 400 yards is always a benefit to these runners. So Cartel Kisses will be one of the strong favorites in race number 6. I like the price on the 1 coming off the break there. And then the third division of these trials, it's going to be race number 8. You got Our Lady's Dynasty, who second by Nick in the juvenile for the 2 million. Quirky Beauty Jess, who was showed quite a bit of talent, but she got into trouble a couple times. Wise Lady Dawn, Intuition, Dasher's Dynasty, and Mighty Like a Rose draws out the field of 7. You made the slight choice of the 1, but you can see where there's quite a few horses with chances, I think, in this field.
Well, when I make the favorite 5-2, and then I have 2 3-1s and a 7-2, that tells you what I think the public's going to look at in this race. There's a lot of ways to go, and I made Our Lady's Dynasty the slight favorite. Horse is proven at 400 yards, had a good effort 2 outs to go in a fast race. Quirky Bitty Jess coming off a solid workout and had some trouble last year. Runs well fresh. But I thought an interesting horse, Mighty Like a Rose, who missed the break 2 outs ago by over 2 lengths and ran better than the line indicates. Draws outside, and the Monte Rosa barn's been on fire. So I could see a lot of ways in this event. Wise Lady Dawn, of course, is coming off 2 consecutive wins, but Ayala takes off to ride Quirky Bitty Jess. So very, very competitive race.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So those are 3 trials for the Los Alamitos Oaks top 10 fastest qualifiers advanced to the final, and that'll be a part of the 10 race program, which of course will conclude with the excuse me, we got 4. I keep thinking 3. We got 4 divisions of the trials for the Oaks. Let's talk about the next one while we're at it here, as we got the 4th and final trial. Sweet Caroline listed at 9-5. She comes out of the win in the Wild West Futurity. She showed better gate speed in her second local start, which was that final. What do you think here about the time off?
Well, I thought of all the horses that worked out, other than the horse that we talked about earlier, Fearless Moon, I thought Sweet Caroline's workout was the best of the horses coming into the trials. If you watch that 220-yard gate workout, the rider could not pull her up in the gallop out. She was so loaded with run, and she was the same way in the gallop out last time out in the Wild West Futurity. So I think the added distance is going to favor Sweet Caroline, and I think she'll have to beat AJ Run for Cash. So I thought one of those 2, based off their past performance lines, are the horses to beat.
And Ayala rode her in the Futurity to that Wild West Futurity to win, so he gets to keep the mount for Monte Rosa. There's AJ Run for Cash for Juan Element, who prevailed by a neck. And then More Than Chancey rounds out the field on the outside. So that's a quick look at the 4 trials. Last week's show, we talked about the Denim N Diamonds there, and we kind of gave a look to how Coalition was going to be tough to beat at, and they did not redraw. They kept the same post positions, same horses are where they drawn last week. So if you take a look at a video from last week, everything stays the same here for the grade 3 Denim N Diamonds.
And you had a price you liked last week, the 2 Miss KO, and you had why you thought she could maybe upset Coalition, and they had 2 other favorites drawn to the outside through Lady Moon and Lady Cartel. So I'll let you talk about Miss KO.
Yeah, we kind of said that the post might benefit the 7 if you're comparing the 7 versus the 1. But Miss Gail has shown some run behind horses with a little bit of trouble, specifically last time out. And I like where she's drawn. The Pre's not always a good gate breaker. Coalition has to deal with the rail tonight. So if the two can have a clear path tonight on Saturday night, she might be able to close ground with that extra 50 yards at a price.
Yeah, I agree with you. But we've talked about 3 and 4 contenders in every one of these races in the late pick 4 sequence, Jose. They're all quarter horse races 5 through 10. So yeah. I think the payoff in the late pick 4 is going to be an attractive one because there aren't too many standout singles that you can find.
No, I think it's going to be a good way here to, for sure, end the card with the pick 4 sequence that is competitive. I don't think they're going to have a big, clear standout favorite. So that's a look at the pick 4 sequence for Saturday night's program with Ed Burgart. Ed, you drove early last week down to Cypress, California on Thursday to avoid the rain. Did you stay here in SoCal or did you drive back the next day?
Well, what I actually did was I drove back on Sunday when I found out the races were going to be canceled because it happened to stop raining Sunday afternoon. I was able to take Interstate 10 out to Desert Center. I took the back way in. It was a little bit longer, but no traffic out there at all. It was just me in the desert, which was kind of enjoyable. And this time I'll have my wife and Princess along with me for the trip because we'll stay for the 9 or 10 days. So looking forward to my wife having an enjoyable time in Cyprus as well. And I'll be out there at Los Alamitos and calling the races here for the next 2 weeks as Michael Rona enjoys his 2nd and 3rd week in Australia with his family. He's having a great time over there. And just looking forward to be back and seeing you guys on TVG and enjoying the races and talking to Dr. Allred and Kathy and going back to the track that I was working at probably 15 years before you were born.
Yeah, you pretty much. That's a good guess right about there. But yeah, Mike Aronas told us it was a great time also as well. He got to share a few drinks with you in Vegas. So, it was you've been the traveling man in the last month or so.
And I was actually the designated driver in Vegas. That's kind of scary.
Well, you did a good duty, my friend. Good duty. Good to hear you. Good to see you. And I hope to see you out there this weekend at Los Al.
I'll see you for sure.
The Los Alamitos Pick 4s are known as night racing's best bets, with huge pools, a $1 minimum, and big payouts. Here are some of our recent Pick 4 pools. On February 19th, the early Pick 4 pool was over $209,000. On February 18th, it was over $189,000. And the late Pick 4 pool on February 5th was over $188,000. Our racing programs begin shortly after the major daytime thoroughbred racing action. Big pools, great fun.
Impressive has blasted clear.
Night racing's best bets, always at Los Alamitos. Racing fans, the traditional $2 Pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick 6 pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a Pick 6 carryover or the $10,000 Pick 6 promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, with a season's best $205,000 on January 7th and a $115,000 pool on January 29th. The traditional $2 Pick 6, a great bet, a great deal. Big-time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
And speaking about that traditional $2 Pick 6 here at Los Alamitos, what a great way here to now begin to chat with Christopher Wade, because the race we're going to look at is the start of the Pick 6 on Saturday night. And if the people already watched the show from last week, Chris, it is deja vu all over again. Don't turn off the show because the races were canceled, and we got some horses that are rented right back from last week's card.
Yeah, and we have 2 horses. We got starting off the Pick 6 with our video review horse, Right On, a horse who's steadily improving on our numbers. Some top notch. He's a big body, well-bred, connected runner, and got lots of talent and slowly moving forward. He's got some quality numbers off his last race with tons of trouble breaking slow, running sideways throughout under hold. And if he can just break and run straight, he's got to look at the outcome there at 4-1 there in that Pick 6 lifter. And don't forget, we close it out with the Denim N Diamonds handicap with one of our best bet coalition there in race number 10, drawn on the rail.
Yeah, so race number 5 here, the start of the Pick 6, 300 yards for the quarter horse straight maidens. Chris likes to look Right On. Let's take you to that replay. Last time out for Right On. Right On had the outside post, was in gate 6. And you can tell he never leveled out in this race, Chris.
No, he didn't. And don't forget, he got fractious behind the gate. Besides getting rambunctious in the gate, he leaned back at the start, broke inward, running head cocked sideways throughout. Never leveled, never got off that left lead. He's trying to lug in every single step of the way. And Ryder's just trying to keep him off his inside rival. But he's locked and loaded with a good amount of run. And with all the tighter that Ryder pulls, the more I take trouble off. With everything factored in, he had a good amount of trouble. Rambunctious inside the gate. Still earned a very very good number with everything factored in. Trouble track variant. He's got a big look at the outcome there in post number 6 in race number 5.
He's 4-1 on the morning line there for Scott Willoughby and Jonathan Roman. That will be Chris's selection right on here in race number 5. Why don't we skip ahead all the way to the featured event and talk about that race? That'll be the Denim N Diamonds, which was scheduled last Sunday night. Also scheduled was the Maiden Stakes. Maiden Stakes will be run on Sunday night. But Denim N Diamonds, if Coalition runs back to that race last time out, Chris, she's the most likely winner, right?
Yeah, she's one of my better plays in the racing card. This runner's run every single start here at Los Alamitos, every one against quality opposition, and she's improved her figure in each subsequent start. And if she runs back to her last race, she's definitely going to beat in the Denim N Diamonds handicap there in post number 1.
The horse she beat, Sir Lady Moon, draws now on the outside, towards the outside in gate number 7. So she gets off the rail. The 7 does, and now gets here in gate number 7. Lady Cartel has run some of her better efforts from the outside post, so she gets the outside post tonight on Saturday night. So she's drawn well. Outside of those, I kind of gave a little bit of look at Miss Cayo. She was trying to show some run behind horses last time out. She gets an extra 50 yards. A lot of things will have to go right for her to be a threat here tonight. But
Yeah,
if she can ever find a path, Chris, I think she's worth a look at a price.
Yeah, she got fractious. She broke very slow. She got in close quarters from the cross. That's multiple lengths. She's angled out, and she finished very nicely in close quarters in the wire. And I gave her a W, a horse to watch. And she's a trouble-prone runner, but if she can ever just break and run her race, she's got to look at the outcome there to grab a slice of the pie at a nice price there. And Denim N Diamonds.
That'll be the Denim N Diamonds race number 10, a grade 3 event to close out the Saturday night card. And of course, we'll have the 4 trials to the Los Alamitos Oaks right behind the Denim N Diamonds. Chris, thanks so much for joining us. As we are speaking right now, we had one eye on the Louisiana Downs card because they just got underway this weekend. Today on Thursday, we're recording this on Thursday. They just finished a card of full trials, and I know you're closely watching that circuit because Louisiana is one of the circuits you like to handicap over there. Yeah,
they had trials today. They had 10 trials today. And with a nice size fields, tomorrow they got trials for Saturday and Sunday. Friday and Saturday got trials. They got 12 both days. Smaller fields, but some nice size fields, and try to help the public along with some prices along the way on Twitter. So see if we can get it going. Watch those workouts from Otamo Park, those 12-5 gate drills. Get some horses out of there that run very well. And Juan Diaz, I think he won 4 today.
Oh, yeah, the Diaz barn. Just watch the barn. That's one of the barns going to be a high percentage barn, and you're still getting good prices on that high percentage barn out there in Louisiana. And don't forget, Remington Park will get underway, I believe, next week, right? Is that when they get started? Yeah.
I think it started the 9th. They run a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday program.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Chris will be providing selections. Of course, you can find them in the Nightlines and, of course, at losalamitos.com as well. But let's focus on Los Alamitos weekend. Let's have a good weekend, Chris. The weather looks clear. Hopefully, we get some good racing out there. Very good card on Saturday night.
Great card on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good. Entries are out for Sunday, so look forward to that and start handicapping. We'll see you out there at Los Alamitos this weekend.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, with a season's best $205,000 on January 7th and a $115,000 pool on January 29th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos. The Los Alamitos Pick 4s are known as night racing's best bets, with huge pools, a $1 minimum, and big payouts. Here are some of our recent Pick 4 pools. On February 19th, the early Pick 4 pool was over $209,000. On February 18th, it was over $189,000. And the late Pick 4 pool on February 5th was over $188,000. Our racing programs begin shortly after the major daytime thoroughbred racing action. Big pools, great fun.
Impressive has blasted clear.
Night racing's best bets, always at Los Alamitos.
That's right. Nights where your best day of racing could be at night at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Welcome back to the weekend preview here. Professor G, did you scare away all the clouds now? Are we clear?
Look at that. Look behind me. It's so shiny back there. It's funny. It's tremendous. I got the window open, Jose. That's how nice it is. Yeah, got a nice little breeze happening. Just in time for a great weekend of racing here at Los Al, Jose, with, of course, 2 cards this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 10 race cards. packed with exciting quarter horse action. I think the early pick, I think Saturday's card, the entire pick six sequence is all straightaway races.
Yes.
The early pick four will consist of races around the turn, and of course, big trials to the Los Alamitos Oaks. For the first time, the Oaks will be a grade one race. Super nice purse in the final, over $460,000. In a nice group of runners, a total of 30 fillies will be in action. And here are some of the already grade one qualifiers from last year. AJ Bourne Running was in the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. It's nice to see some horses that have shipped in from out of state to compete in these trials, Jose. We got Fearless Moon, who ran fourth in the Rainbow Futurity. Cartel Kisses and Mighty Like a Rose. They both competed and did it very well at Remington Park. Believe they competed in the Remington Park, Oklahoma Futurity, Breeders' Futurity. So a couple of runners with a lot of nice success in Oklahoma. Quirky Bitty Jess qualified to a couple of futurities here at Los Alamitos, including the Ed Burke Million. Navaja also ran in the the Ed Burke Million.
Yes.
Temple Core was in the Golden State Million. And Sweet Caroline won the Wild West Futurity. Sweet Caroline won that race. Jessica Cruz ran second. Both of them will be part of the Los Alamitos Oaks. Those races will be races 6 through 9, 400 yards each one. Top 10 qualified to the grade one Los Alamitos Oaks in a couple of weeks, Jose.
That's nearly $500,000 in the purse. And now grade one Los Alamitos Oaks, Saturday night there on March 4th. Ed Burgart will be on the call for the next couple of weeks here at Los Al. And last season, Professor, I made AJ Bourne Running my lock of the night on a couple of occasions. And since then, since the last time AJ Bourne Running raced, I have an AJ in the house. So now I'm going to have to bet all these AJs because I have an AJ in the house. So little AJ's doing well. So now I'm kind of committed to keep on betting all the AJs the rest of the
night. And now that you mention, isn't there another one, AJ Run for Cash? Is that the other one that might be in there? So, all right.
The bankroll manager creaked in as I was finishing my comments for the Nightlands here into the office. She's like, AJ? What AJ? I was like, there's AJ horses because they political jest. So now we got to bet AJs in this household.
You got to.
Yes. By the way, Abraham Jose is the name of my kiddo. So AJ, we have an AJ in the household now in the books. All right. As we were kind of wrapping up some of our segments for Ed Burgart and Christopher Wade, Professor, he drew for Sunday. Sunday's entries are just freshly out. And I have them right here. And we'll show them because we got trials for the El Primero del Año Derby on this upcoming Sunday night. And 10-race program. And one of the races, actually, the stakes event was the Maiden Stakes, right? That will be concluding the race number 10.
Yeah, that's a carryover from last week's Sunday night card. So this 10-race program will have 2 trials to the El Primero del Año Derby. The purse for the final will be almost $200,000. This is a grade 2 event. And from what I can tell, because again, we just drew these races. There's 8 runners in the opening trial, which will be race number 8. And in the second trial, we will also have 9 horses, actually. So a total of 17 runners going in these trials to the El Primero. Top 10 qualify and advance to the El Primero del Año final. Remember, Golden Boy won this race last year. That was his biggest win in a year that he ended up being named the AQHA champion, 3-year-old colt. So a race with a lot of great history, the El Primero del Año Derby. Some really good horses in this race. And you're showing right there a big name that will be in action in the trials, Party Politics. He'll be horse number 9 in the second trial of the El Primero. Party
Politics had a tremendous campaign last season. Here he is, one of those very good races that he had last season. And, of course, we know him as a dual grade 1 futurity winner. He was trying to go for the sweep, Professor. He was trying to go for the big futurity sweep last year.
Yeah, and we've never had a horse that has won the Ed Burke Golden State Million and the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. So a chance to make history. He didn't make the final to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity, but just winning the Ed Burke, just winning the Golden State Million, that's a huge accomplishment all on its own. defeated Cyber Attack. If we remember, in that outstanding running of the Golden State Million, came flying at the end and just nipped Cyber Attack to win the Golden State Million Futurity. But the connections and the horse ended up taking a lot of trophies during the PCQHRA Awards Banquet. Party Politics was named the champion 2-year-old gelding in California. The ownership group, JGA Racing Stable, that's the Alaman family. They won the Special Recognition Award for the owner. Juan Alaman won the Special Recognition Award. No, he did not win that. That went to Monte Rosa. But Juan Alaman was part of the ownership group with JGA Racing Stables. They took a couple of trophies home on behalf of the group, and of course, thanks to Party Politics.
And look, where did he win the Golden State Million Futurity from? The outside post.
Yeah,
he gets the outside post here once again. Price Fixer, Fire Pit, Space Flight. I can't let Space Flight beat me, so I'm going to be including Space Flight there. Chester Carlson, Andy Tamping, who qualified for the Edberg Million and actually was a favorite against Party Politics in the Edberg Million when running second. He's back in gate number 4. Terrific Phoenix, who has thrown a tremendous late kick. Chivalry and Chiquititas Cartel will be part of that second trial. So on Sunday night, the trials for the El Primero del Año Derby, 400-yard final, nearly $200,000 in the purse. You can see some of the highlight names in those trials.
Yeah, Mahomes Magic ran in the 2 million Futurity. He's chickless. He's a stakes winner and has been in some really nice races here at Los Alamitos as well. Don Sass KVN. He just ran in the Winter Derby not too long ago. So did his chickless. Like we mentioned, Ain't He Tempting, a 2-length winner in the trials of the Edberg Million, ran second in that final. Turbo's a qualifier, Futurity qualifier from last year. Space Flight, let's see what he does, Jose. You're going to cash in big one of these nights. I just know it. And Price Fixer, a stakes caliber horse. I think he'll be one of the horses in the mix for a top 10 spot as well.
Yeah, he's Price Fixer, show talent as 2-year-old. He hasn't put it quite all together, but he's always been in the mix of things throughout his career. So let's look at some of the names in the El Primero del Año Derby trials, 2 trials on Sunday night. And then to complete the Sunday night program, Professor, we got the running of the Maiden Stakes. We already took a look at this race last week here on the previous show, but we'll go over it again here. And as I took a quick glance, Professor, since it's the same runners, they did not redraw. So everybody has the same post positions. Everything remains the same as it was last week.
Yeah, and we talked last week about how cool it was to have Apolitical Victory, Apolitical Pence's younger brother, right next to the fastest qualifier, By My Lady at Corona. That should be really good. And how about By My Lady at Corona? His sister, Our Lady's Dynasty, will be running on Saturday night in the trials to the Los Alamitos Oaks. So it could be a big weekend for the family of runners out of the mare, Lady Eagle 1, 2, 3.
We've seen siblings do well in back-to-back nights and back-to-back weekends. It's been the history tends to repeat themselves here at Los Al. But we talked about how Apolitical Pence won impressively from Gate 5, defeating Impressum. Apolitical Victory, his brother, draws Gate 5. And he finally showed the ability to break, Professor, and he looked sensational last time out.
Yeah, and that was the big key. Trainer Monte Rosa said that this horse had been a little bit green in past races, but finally put it all together, and it was good to see. Had a chance to talk to Monte Rosa after the trials to the Maiden Stakes. Here's what he had to say.
We've liked this horse all along. He's just had a few little issues and taken some time to grow up. And, we've always called him Little Pence. And today he exhibited a lot of the qualities of his brother. He left there like a rocket. My mom called me and said, looks just like your bigger brother. So big shoes to fill there, but proud of him tonight. Looked like maybe got a little green down towards the end. Needs some more experience, but how'd he be disappointed with that? He ran super.
He did. He ran super in the trials, Professor. He broke. He showed that gate speed. He kept on going. Final clocking in 1764. And he's looking like he's trending upward with only 3 career starts.
Yeah, it's a pretty good field all around. We mentioned he's going to be tough. He's my pick to win this race. we had a chance to talk to Paul Jones last week about Dangerous Fellow, a horse that shipped in here from Arizona, and right away had a nice effort in the trials, ran second to By My Lady A Corona. Looking for that horse to do some good. And how about the 9 horse, OJD? She's Gone Rogue. Had a couple of nice efforts already here at Los Alamitos. Won her first start here at Los Al by a half a length. Came back and had a little bit of trouble leaving the gate in that trial, but still finished third and still qualified in a very productive trial against By My Lady at Corona, Dangerous Fellow. I think there was like 5 or 6 horses that qualified from that same trial.
Yeah, then she gets off the rail, which might be beneficial because the last 2 local starts have been from the rail for the one. So getting off the rail might benefit here. Now she's drawn in gate number 9. Millennia, we talked about her, that crazy long shot that is lightly raced. He can improve. He obviously needs to break a little bit better, but he showed some talent in the mornings, and that's 4th place finish was okay. It was pretty solid. But it looks like the money's going to be in the middle. A Political Victory versus By My Lady of Corona. We'll see. Actually, since we had this race drawn, Professor, I think I've got the morning line from last week. Actually, I don't have it handy. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but the morning line should be out already because this race is essentially a redraw from last week.
Yeah, if you did some homework and kind of study last Sunday's program, there are several races that have been brought back for this weekend. Some of these stakes races were not, the post positions didn't change. That's what happened with the Denim N Diamonds on Saturday, as well as this one. If I remember correctly, was A Political Victory 5-2? Was that?
I want to say yes. I want to say 2-1 and 5-2, right? I think that's
something along those lines. Yeah. So we'll take we'll have an opportunity to kind of just refresh our memory. If we took a look at some of these races last week, you'll be already on top of your game, a little bit of a head start going into this weekend's cards.
That's for sure. So that's a look at what we have in store this weekend at Los Al. It should be a fun weekend of racing with those stakes events, also with trials to complement those 2 cards. It should be a fun weekend of racing. Weather looks clear, Professor. So it actually snowed here in Southern California. How crazy is that?
Did you get some snow? I got hail where I live. Did you get a little bit of snow?
I got snow. Actually, we got a nice video with the kids outside running with a little bit of flurry, a little bit of snow.
Great.
So, so they had a blast. They wanted more snow. It was. I would never guess that I would have seen snow here in Southern California. The mountains are covered. I mean, if you see any mountain range here in California, you'll see snow.
Yeah, I'll post some photos from the press box here, looking at those mountains. Just fantastic stuff. I actually saw a video of people driving from Burns Ranch, heading this way to Los Alamitos, and it was just full on snowing.
Yes,
full on snowing. So pretty cool.
Yeah, Burns Ranch is out here on the Menifee, right? This area, down towards the Inland Empire. So if you were out in the Inland Empire, you definitely saw a lot of snow out here in Southern California. But weather's clear. We got plenty of rain here to help with the drought here in SoCal. So we should be ready to go. Hopefully we have a great weekend of racing. Our approximate post time should be just shortly following the main Southern California circuit here at Santa Anita.
Yeah, remember, Santa Anita has a huge Saturday of racing. The Big Cap will be the 12th race of a 12-race program at Santa Anita. We'll start shortly after the last race from Golden Gate. So our post time on Saturday is 6:20 p.m. Santa Anita has 9 races on Sunday. So we're looking around somewhere a little bit after 5 o'clock starting our card on Sunday night.
That sounds good. We're looking forward to those cards. Again, thank you to the racing office putting out the good work, getting out the entries ready to go, and the horsemen entering. Can't wait. Get ready for those night lines. And again, if you did some of the handicapping work for last week, you'll notice some of those horses that were entered for that card are spread out on both cards, Saturday and Sunday. So if you did some homework, you're well prepared here for this weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of a head start. You already did some homework and get ready to ace that test this weekend here at Los Al.
Sounds good. Let's find some winners, Professor. Good talking to you. And I'll see you this weekend at Los Al.
Thanks so much, Jose.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, with a season's best $205,000 on January 7th and a $115,000 pool on January 29th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos. The Los Alamitos Pick 4s are known as night racing's best bets, with huge pools, a $1 minimum, and big payouts. Here are some of our recent Pick 4 pools. On February 19th, the early Pick 4 pool was over $209,000. On February 18th, it was over $189,000. And the late Pick 4 pool on February 5th was over $188,000. Our racing programs begin shortly after the major daytime thoroughbred racing action. Big pools, great fun.
Impressive has blasted clear.
Night racing's best bets, always at Los Alamitos.